Right now, let's get to our interview. We've got on the phone coming at us live in Florida. Let's bring her on now. Make some noise for Vera King Ramone, everyone. Yay! Woo. Hi, Vera.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to adjust these levels as we speak.
Hi.
How's Florida? How's Florida?
Hello?
How's Florida tonight? Hello?
Hello.
How is Florida this evening?
Hey, it's really nice down here. How you guys doing?
We are waiting for spring, and it's so close, man. It's getting warmer here in Oregon.
Oh, man, I know we got cold weather up there, right?
Not too bad. It depends what part of the state you're in. We're in southern Oregon, so it's a little bit more Mediterranean, more northern California.
Okay. Well, it's really beautiful down here, so you should come on down.
What part of Florida are you in?
I'm down by West Palm Beach.
Ah. Now,
and it's really, this is the time of year to be down here.
Yeah.
So next time you're around, come on down. Let me know when you're coming.
Awesome. I'll consider that an invite at some point.
Okay.
Awesome. So, a lot of people don't know, and they're going to find out, but you put a book out, and a lot of people do know. But it's called Poisoned Heart. I Married Dee Dee Ramone. Of course, we're all together today on this phone because we are all fans of Dee Dee. And how long were you married to Dee Dee?
We were married 17 years.
That's a long time, huh?
1970. I met him in 1977, and we divorced in 1995. So yeah, it was a long journey.
Were you a
for
big
rock and roll anyway?
Yeah, right. Kind of rare.
Yeah.
Were you a big fan of Dee Dee's before you guys got married? Were you like a big Ramones fan?
No, I really wasn't. I had seen them a few times, but I didn't meet him when he was playing. I met him on an off night up in Max's, Kansas City on a Sunday night, and he wasn't working either, and he walked in, and I was at the bar, and he came over, and we just started talking. So we met like that. I wasn't really a big fan. And then, of course, we toured together, and I went with him on the road, and it was a fun time.
And then, is it true that once you got married, Johnny Ramone created the new rule of no wives on tour?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he tried to. He made up a new rule because, of course, I was the only wife. So he made up this rule, and then when I didn't go on a tour or so, they couldn't really handle him. So then he was begging me to come on the tour, and I was like, okay, well, I'll go when I feel like it. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking that if he had a girlfriend or a wife at the time, I'm thinking that wouldn't have become a rule.
Well, he did have a girlfriend, but he kept her at home all the time. She wasn't allowed to come on the road.
So he wanted that for everyone else as well.
Yeah, he did. He kind of didn't want her to feel like she was the only one, so he made that rule up. And it was the contentious part of our relationship, but it didn't make that much of a difference to me because I went anyway.
Well, good for you. I was kind of, you hear all these crazy stories, of course, about rockers in their own books and biographies that people write. What I thought was pretty cool is that, you didn't just focus on kind of the crazy stuff, but you kind of also talked about, what a great sense of humor that Dee Dee had, and just kind of, an innocent kind of a guy, childlike, kind of cool person that he was. And did you kind of intend to do that to show not just his crazy rocker side, but the kind of the other side of Dee Dee that people don't really get to hear about too much?
Well, that was a big part of me wanting to write the book was that everybody just thought of him as this crazy, wild guy. He did a lot of drugs and stuff like that. But there was so much more to him than that. And I thought that the story needed to be told. And I didn't want him to be remembered just for one thing, because there was so much more to Dee Dee Ramone than that. And he was really very kind and funny and generous to a fault, and very talented. You know, he could write songs he could write like a song a day if he wanted to.
Yeah.
It didn't take him long to write a song. I mean, he wrote Pet Cemetery in like half hour. You know.
Nice.
Yeah,
It was
and
just,
to be honest,
he
I
was,
don't
you
really.
know, he was gifted like that.
He was gifted, and especially, like you say, in the songwriting aspect. And I really honestly don't know what the Ramones would have done even after Dee Dee was no longer in the band had it not been for his songwriting abilities, because
Yeah.
he continued to write, a lot of the Ramones stuff after he was.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, even after he had left the band. So
Even after he left the band, he continued to write for them, and he all those years. I mean, if he didn't help write a lot of those songs, I don't know that they would have kept their recording contract. So
I don't think so. I really don't. And
well,
go ahead.
you never know. I mean, Joey wrote a lot of cool songs too, but Dee Dee was he was consistent. He was writing and writing and writing. Where it would take Joey a lot longer to write a song. It would take him months to write a song. Dee Dee just whipped them out one after another. So that was like a big plus in his corner, and he loved to do everything that happened. He wrote a song about, whether it was a good song or a bad song, but he wrote about it, and then he presented it to the band at rehearsals, and John would, ultimately be the one who'd say, well, that's a good song. We'll put that on the album. And if it didn't make it, I still have a shoebox full of demos. So
Wow.
it doesn't matter. I still have a lot of unrecorded stuff.
Interesting. I know that you got along for the most part with the guys in the band and they were friends of yours. How about Dee Dee's mom? Did you have any kind of relationship with his mom?
You know what? Actually, we had a great relationship, and her birthday was just this Friday. I talked to her Friday. She lives down here in Delray, Florida, so she's not far from me, and we're going to get together soon. And she just turned 88, so we still have a good relationship going, and we'll always have that bond together,
And I know you've always said that his struggles with, mental illness and drug abuse, definitely led to putting a strain on your relationship. Did you get into the drug thing? Did you avoid the drug world?
I mean, I wasn't a saint. I did my lines and I smoked some weed and, that kind of stuff. But I was never like a heroin person, or I hated needles. I don't like needles. So I was basically kind of straight, and I don't drink. Socially I'll have a drink when I'm out, but I help Dee Dee, stay sober and try to get him away from all that. And I think that people meet for a reason. And hindsight now, I really think that I was put into his life for a reason, because he wouldn't have lasted, and the Ramones may never have become what they were, because he would have been dead. He would have been dead, for sure.
And in the book, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you guys went through together. I'm assuming that in writing this book, it was kind of cathartic for you. I mean, is that the case?
Well, yes. I mean, I think it was like 10 years worth of therapy to write the book, because I got to release a lot of my feelings and just put things to rest, get it out in the open, and be done with it. Where I think it would have taken me years of therapy to get through something like that, because he was gone and there were a lot of things left unsaid, and I just feel that it was meant to be, and I wanted to do that. I wanted to do it for him, and I wanted to do it for me.
Well, and I know as fans, we are appreciative, because you brought a perspective to Dee Dee. Like I said, I mean, he had his book out, or his books, but he can't convey kind of what you did. You know what I mean? And that's the perspective of someone who loved him unconditionally and saw him for probably more than he saw himself.
Dee Dee was he had a really crazy imagination, and he didn't really didn't feel worthy of a lot of things that were in his life. He didn't feel that he was worthy of them. He always was self-deprecating.
Yeah, I kind
in
of
a lot
got
of
that
ways.
from reading his
People
book.
don't really think that. They think that, but when they would meet him, he would be really cool and nice to them, and he'd talk to them and sign autographs. But on the inside, I mean, he was like a different person. He would be really. Sometimes he was very self-loathing, and he'd feel guilty that he wasn't worthy of all this admiration. So he had a lot of demons that fought him.
Wow.
And he couldn't deal with it. He tried to numb the pain, and that was part of all the therapy that he went through. We went through years of ups and downs, and we tried to work through it for the most part, and he did really great for a long time. And then he just decided that he didn't want to be in the band anymore, and it was like, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, I don't know. I'll go play in Central Park with a monkey on my shoulder. And I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, you're serious?
And he was dead serious. He was dead serious.
Wow.
I thought he was joking, but he
Monkey.
was dead serious, and
How?
I guess I couldn't wrap my head around what he was going through. And we went through a difficult time, and then we just separated for a while, and that was kind of the end of it.
How did your family react to Dee Dee and your wedding to him and everything?
Well, the first day I brought him home, he did a bunch of quaaludes because he was nervous about meeting my parents. So he kind of he was really out of it. So my dad was like, you can't send him home like that. He goes, well, don't sleep on the couch downstairs. So he stayed over that first night. And my parents knew that I was pretty headstrong, that if they said that they didn't like him or they didn't want him to be with me, that I was going to be with them anyway. So they just accepted him.
Yeah.
And in time, they just learned to love him for who he was, and they saw I was happy with him, and they loved him. Dee Dee was great when he was sober. It was just when he was strung out and doing different drugs and stuff, and not on his meds. When he went off his meds, then I couldn't be with him anymore because I didn't want to be the next Nancy Spungen,
Yeah, definitely. If you're tuning in right now, you're listening to an interview with Vera Ramone King on the Church of Rock radio show on KSKQ Radio. Vera, also something kind of funny, I guess. I guess one time you and Dee Dee were at a party and Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones hit on you. Is this true?
Oh, somebody just asked me about that.
Weird.
Yeah, we were at a party at a friend's house on Thanksgiving, 1978, and we had only been married 2 months, and Mick Jagger was there, and we were hanging out with Jackson Browne and the Tubes and some other people, and Mick was making these remarks across the room and hitting on me, and Dee Dee was just he was just frozen, and I didn't know what to say anything. I was just really quiet. And then our best man that was at our wedding, he was there, and he told Mick, he said, well, Mick, she's married. And he was married to Bianca Jagger at the time. And he said, aren't we all? So it was, it was just really, it was charming, and it was it was pretty cool. But Dee Dee didn't really care for that. And
I bet.
I'm sure he didn't.
it was awkward, it was just really awkward.
Disrespectful too, kind of,
Sounds like Mick Jagger, though.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, he slept with thousands of women, so
Yeah.
what do you think?
That's his thing.
That's his thing, yeah.
What do you think it is, Vera, about the Ramones that that has had such lasting effect? I mean, kids today are still, being turned on to the Ramones and introduced to punk rock through the Ramones. And what do you think it is about, that has had such a lasting impact on the rock and roll world?
I've talked about this with Monty and Linda Ramone, and I talk about it with Marky, and because I still see them, and they're bigger now than ever, ever. it's like they're legends now,
Yeah.
icons, and we really don't understand it. But you have to feel that they were put here for a reason,
Yeah.
and they did their thing, and then they were gone.
I
All
agree.
around that age of 50, they were here. They made they finally made it, and then they were out of here. They were
Crazy.
gone, all within a year or two apart. So it's really quite. We find it hard to believe that they're still gone.
Yeah, in the cosmic sense of things, it's so trippy, you know.
You just never know. You never know.
You know, we don't have a ton of time, but I wanted to ask you this. Tracy might have another question or two. I wanted to ask you this. I hope it's not too personal. Wondering what, like, the last time you spoke or saw Dee Dee, what was that conversation or that visit like?
Well, the last time we spoke, he was living at the Chelsea, and it was like an awkward conversation because I had just moved to Florida. I needed to start my life over again, and I was afraid of, coming home from work, and I would drive around the block to make sure he wasn't like in the bushes or something waiting for me, because he would get like pretty crazy sometimes. And it was like a life that I didn't want to live like that, so I wanted to go somewhere and start fresh.
Yeah.
And make new friends, and
Sanity.
I thought it was best for the both of us. And then he felt that I like deserted him and left him, and really that wasn't it. But I was afraid. I was scared.
Wow.
And there, I kind of had to make a choice.
Yeah.
So that was the only. I had to make a choice, and it wasn't easy to make, and it was hard for both of us. But we always remained friends. And then when I heard he passed away, I was devastated, and it's still devastating to me.
I'm sure it is. What do you do with your time these days? I know you you battled I believe it was brain cancer, correct? And beat that. Am I right?
I did. I had
Wow.
I had a brain tumor removed in 2004, and I stopped working after a while for that. I wrote the book, and then I went back into doing property management down here in real estate, and I still do that to some point, once in a while. But for the most part, I'm like semi-retired, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I don't have to work right now, so.
Do you get out and go to shows ever? Are there any bands you're into, or are you?
I just went to see the Barbed Wire Dolls not too long ago.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And, yeah, they're really, really nice people, and they're good friends of mine.
Yeah, they've been on the show.
Excuse me?
Yeah, they've been on the show before.
Oh, they have, yeah. They have a new band now, Royal Distortion.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
I think they were playing at the Viper Room in L.A.
Yeah. It's been a couple years, but she was on she was on the show with us before.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're nice people. I really enjoy them. But I see a lot of local bands, and when Richie Ramone comes to town, I see him. Or if Mark comes down with Marion, I go to visit them in South Beach or wherever. But we still keep in touch,
Yeah, Richie just spoke with Richie yesterday. Yeah. He's coming on the show in about 3 weeks.
He started a tour, so he's going at it,
Yeah, he's got that new single coming out.
Yeah. He's doing well. Mark is always touring. He's all over the place. He's in Europe. He's in South America. He's in Japan. He's in Russia. He's all over the place. Really big in South America. In South America, the Ramones are like the Beatles.
Yeah, they're huge.
Crazy. It's insane. It's like totally insane.
Yeah, so nice. I'm glad that Marky's reaping the rewards,
Well, you know what? He's worked hard,
Oh, yeah.
He stayed he got sober, and he has stayed sober since 85 or 84.
Yeah.
So he's really he's worked it. He's worked it, and he deserves it, and he's doing well. God bless him. And he's keeping the Ramone legacy going. They all are.
Amen.
We
Yeah.
just all are. You know what? We've been together for so many years, all of us, and there's nobody that knows each other better. We've spent months together, crammed in a tour bus and in most deplorable conditions, and all over the states, all over the world, in like the shittiest club.
Yeah. Well, we really I appreciate you, continuing the Ramones legacy yourself as far as keeping the history alive and for, telling the tales because, you're still here and we're glad to have you. And thanks for making the time tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'd like to have you back on again sometime down the road, maybe if you're interested.
I appreciate it. I'd love to.
Great. Well, Tracy, anything you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
Just thank you so much, Vera, for taking the time to talk to us. And thanks so much for, kind of being an advocate for Dee Dee. I think a lot of times he got kind of the raw end of the deal and maybe didn't get as much credit as he deserved. And I feel like your book kind of helped to vindicate him in that respect. And we just, as fans, really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate you telling me that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you have a good rest of your Sunday night.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Take it easy, Vera. We're going to play Baby Doll for you.
Oh, thanks. I love that song.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's Vera Ramone King. Thanks again. We'll talk to you soon, my friend. Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a nice lady, man. There you go. Vera Ramone King.
Yeah, she's super cool. I could, questions for days.
For sure.
She was there for so much of Dee Dee's just
life.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know if you had a chance to read, what's the title of Dee Dee's book? The one
I can't remember off the second.
If you get a chance, though, absolutely check that out and check out her book. Just stories that you couldn't make that stuff up, man.
No, his book's really, really crazy.
So, yeah, we're going to hear a little bit of Dee Dee. This is solo Dee Dee, right?
Yeah, it's from his solo album. And this is actually a tune called Baby Doll. It might have been written about Vera. I almost think it was.
Oh, cool.
Check it out. It's solo. Dee Dee Ramone. We got Laramie Crow coming up. We've got Roots of Rock, Story Time with the Reverend, and so much more. You're at the Church of Rock. We really appreciate having you here at KSKQ.
Someone above sent me a work of art. The happiness I feel is so very real. You smiled at me and I sat down and cried. On that day all the evil in me died. You are my God.